Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laura White. I am the company director of a company called Budget Music Videos. We specialise in low-budget filming for independent musicians, people starting out in the industry. I'll give you a bit of background about me. I used to be a musician. I used to be a singer. Been singing since I was a little girl and started writing in my 20s. Never went to school for any of it, to be honest. Just did my own thing and came to London and was working in the entertainment industry for a long time. And picked up a camera one day and started filming myself, and then evolved into this job that I do now, which I absolutely love. I started Budget Music Videos in 2013 with the mindset that young, upcoming independent musicians should have a visual for likes of YouTube, social media, because it was a massive big turn of the digital world. We're in fast-paced content world now, and that was the main idea behind us. So, today, we're gonna talk about how to make a DIY music video. First of all, I'm gonna tell you who I am and what exactly I do. I'm gonna talk about why shoot a music video, how to choose a good director or a production company if you go down that route. And it can be affordable. Don't be scared of those things, okay? Exactly how much does it cost? My top tips, I have got 4 top tips, but I probably could give you 20 top tips, to be fair. Low budget music videos examples, my 10 steps. I teach a 10-step course, which is very detailed and very thorough. And it's all about the whole process from start to finish and what we go through regularly. And it can be a really good guideline, even if you're a DIY musician. We're also going to talk about other options like leasing stock footage. That's definitely an option these days with the amount of content being put out there. And what not to do, the mistakes musicians make, okay? As you can see, I'm quite a character, and I'm not going to lie, I'm quite big and bold and full of jokes. So why are you shooting a music video, okay? Video is the #1 marketing tool. Everybody knows that. They're estimating on Facebook by next year, pretty much 100% of the content will be video. You all use Instagram. How many people actually post pictures anymore? Not that many. And if you haven't got TikTok, I would totally advise you to get TikTok. It is now being rated as the next platform, especially for anyone in the music industry. Big, big, big kudos to them. So yeah, get TikTok, those sorts of things. Artist representation. Look, you know, the reality is, anyone follow Louis Capaldi by any chance? Louis Capaldi? Yes, love that. Go and follow him, hilarious guy. His music does not match his personality at all, but he makes a fortune doing what he does. But the reality is, artist representation is one of those things where there's 2 ways you can go. You can be yourself, like Louis Capaldi. Louis Capaldi or Louis Capaldi? It's Louis, is it? You could be yourself, like him, where he sits on the toilet and does selfies, videos for promoting his new single. Not a joke. Or you could go down the route of being quite more polished and quite more sophisticated. It's totally up to you. I think the main key when you're putting any video content together is that you just be yourself, and I think that always sells 10 times better. The global head of music at YouTube recently said when Taylor Swift brought out her music video, Me, he said, we started in an audio world, we moved into an audio-visual world, and I think this is the moment when it became a visual audio world. So if you can understand what that means, it means the visual goes with the audio, and unfortunately, the visual sells the audio. And I think what he's saying is that Taylor Swift is a really great example of somebody who puts millions into her videos, but also reaps the rewards at the same time. Obviously, she's not a DIY, she's not a startup, she's not an independent, but she's a great example of how the digital world these days is changing so fast. Anyone seen Gangnam Style? You've all seen Gangnam Style? Yeah, okay. Gangnam Style by Psy is a legendary music video. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. The only reason that song became famous is because of the video and the funny dance that he does in it, and every kid under the sun was doing the dance. I mean, if you can create something like that, brilliant. Other examples, which have actually launched people's careers that was low budget, is a great example of Azealia Banks. Azealia Banks brought this video out 212. It was self-made, all by one of her mates made it. Now she's a big international recording star, but as you can see, there's nothing. There's no set design, there's no production, there's not even makeup, and you know, it worked for her and it went viral. So you can do great things on a low budget with a good idea. So how to choose a director or a production company? If you're on a low budget, you know, you can go down the route of hiring somebody. Don't be thinking that people are unreachable or unaffordable. In London, everybody has a price, and you'd be surprised how many people out there are looking for an opportunity. There's a lot of people coming new into the industry who want a chance to build their portfolio, just like yourselves. They're looking for an opportunity. And there's loads of platforms out there where you can find people, freelancers, directors, you know, all sorts of people who can maybe bring a creative edge to your music video. So don't be scared to think, well, if I put a little bit of money aside for somebody that could come in and give me a bit of advice, it would be money well spent. But if you're choosing somebody, you want to look at their showreel. You know, is the showreel good quality? Does it show good variety? Have they worked maybe in your genre? It's quite a big request for me. You know, every artist I work with, they want to see that I've done their genre of music before. And I have done every genre you could probably think of, to be honest, bar maybe one or two, but I have done a lot of different styles of videos. You want to look at their showreel for lots of different things. Good camera work, good editing, good quality, creativity if you want, you know. So looking at a showreel is the first step, definitely. Again, you want to look at things like if they've got reviews, if they've got social media, if they've got credibility, what's their reputation like, and all of that too. For me, a lot of my clients have actually booked me based on, you know, basically, I've met so many people when I come out to events like this, or when I'm speaking at loads of different stuff, and people talk to me, they get to know me, and they want to work with me just because they like me as a person. And I think if you're hiring anyone, whether it's a production company or a director, that you actually get to know them a little bit and build a rapport, a conversation. Because without that, you know, it's very hard to express and get across your idea as a musician of what you want to create for your video. Now, obviously, you can go down the freelancer route, and you could probably get a freelancer for a really affordable price, maybe even free if they're starting out, but there's always a risk. So just always remember, there's no guarantees with going a freelancer route. I've had quite a few disappointing musicians come to me who've worked with freelancers who then haven't come through with the video, or the video hasn't been good, or you know, they haven't delivered on time, or it's taken them a year to get them the video, and you sort of think, what are they doing with that content? So, you know, as much as freelancer may be your only option, just be very careful who you do work with. Production company, you know, there is lots of low budget production companies out there, like myself, who charge similar prices. Go with who you think can represent you in the best way and give you the best quality that you're looking for. Good thing about a production company, your guarantees. You're obviously getting those guarantees that your shoot's going to be completed and it's going to be done at a high standard. So how much does it cost? Well, how long is a piece of string, to be fair? Music videos, look, you can make a music video on your phone for free, and it's all it'll take is your time. And I will explain how to do that in the most simplest way. Video production, you've got to think what goes into production for a company, or even a freelancer you've hired, a director. They've got to think about the studio hire. Studios can range from £50 for 4 hours, believe it or not. But they can go up to £4,000. You know, it depends on the studio. There are loads of low budget studios in London. Happy to tell you where they all are. I know like 10. I have a database full of them at the minute, of studios we would use that we can get dirt cheap. And sometimes it is about who you know. When it comes to that sort of thing, like there's studios we've approached as a production house, and we went to a studio and we're like, yeah, we want to hire it for the day, and it's going to be, you know, if I was to drop a celebrity name, forget it. The price has gone through the roof. Just being a production house, they're like, oh yeah, we got to charge you double. So, there is an advantage of being just an independent artist. Oh, I'm just an independent artist, and I just want a studio. You can get studios relatively cheap. So there's that element. Locations are great because locations are free. Obviously, the reality is if you're rolling out like this on the street, with a camera, you can pretty much get away with anything. Just don't start putting up lights and giant tripods and getting in the way. You can get away with murder. It just depends where you are without permits. I generally have got away with everything and filmed in all sorts of locations. You just roll up and no one will say anything to you as long as you're not causing a disturbance. But there are loads of great locations out there, a field, a mountaintop. I live in Ireland, so I'm quite lucky that I have many, many, many amazing locations. Here in London, we've got loads that we've used quite regularly, just like local parks and obviously down in the city centre in London. And as long as you're compact and nobody really knows what you're doing, you just look like a photographer, nobody cares what you're up to. It's when you start bringing big crews and big lights and big cameras, then you're going to need permits, you're going to need permission, you're going to need all those sorts of things. So things like set design, props, obviously, I'll give you an example. 3 days ago, I had somebody email me wanting to recreate a David Bowie music video. Oh, no joke. And he showed me the video, and as simple as it was, he wanted me to recreate it exactly as it was in that video. And I was like, okay. It was, you want to ask me something? No, nobody cares. That's the truth. There's too much content out there for anyone to give a shit. The only thing is, however, that might be changing. If you copy somebody's idea and put your own spin on it, that's okay. If you physically take somebody's work and use it as your own, then you can't do that, obviously, right? But taking ideas, I take ideas, inspiration from music videos every day, because the wheel's already been done, guys. There's nothing new to do. Yes. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. I took inspiration. I would love to show you an example, but I can't. I took inspiration from a Rihanna music video that she did with. What's that favorite? Oh my God. I think she did it with Drake. Yes, Drake. Sorry, Rihanna and Drake did this video, and it was really like this. Caribbean type look to it with like green and red lights, and it was all like it was like a party and blah blah blah. And I actually didn't recreate it, but I put my own spin on it and shot a video kind of similar to it, and I actually got 5 nominations at the Short Film Awards for it, so it did all right. Actually won 1 award for editing for it, the edit on it. Anyway, but yes, that's a really good example. So definitely take inspiration from people's music videos, 100%. But as I was saying, for me to recreate a music video, and I sort of scare people, they come to budget music videos because they think they're going to get it cheap, and then I give them the reality of set design, and they go, oh, maybe not, maybe we'll just do it another way. So another cost you've got to think about is makeup and hair, and yes, that goes for boys too. Look, if you've no budget, that's fair enough, honestly. That's completely understandable, but I swear by hair and makeup being good. Even if you're filming yourself on your phone, just be clean, be neat, be tidy, have something going on there, because it does make a big difference to us, especially on camera. Things like for girls, it's an obvious one, highlight and good definition of the eyebrows and the lips. It makes such a difference. We have this saying in the makeup world, HD makeup, and it is actually a real thing. And my makeup artists, they recreate HD, what they call HD makeup, and it's all to do with how the camera picks up your features and how the lights pick up your features, and makeup makes that. For boys, it's a bit different. Obviously, we just want you not to have dark circles or spots, or, we want you to look fresh. You want to look clean. You want to look, you don't want to look tired and hungover. Unless that's the theme of the video, then that's fair enough. Then Stylist Costumes. If you're starting out, you look in your wardrobe. You would be surprised what you have in your wardrobe. I think a lot of people think you've got to go out there and hire somebody at £500 an hour. No, you don't. You can look in your own wardrobe. You can go to Primark. There are many a video shoot that I have shot where we have sourced costumes for the dancers from Primark, and it's been that simple. It doesn't have to be bank-breaking type money to spend, but do think it through when it comes to Stylist and Costumes and what you're going to wear. For example, don't wear white if you're filming on a white background. I mean, you know, don't wear black if you're filming on a black background. I mean, that's just standard type stuff, because obviously that's really hard to light, and looks terrible. So, time, yeah. So time is not free. Nobody's time is free, and it's unfair to think if you are bringing anyone in to help you that their time is free. But if you can, and if you're smart, what resources do you have around you? So as much as I'm saying all these things cost money, you know, the video production, the locations, the set design, blah, 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 who is around you? I guarantee in this school alone that somebody knows how to work a camera. I guarantee somebody here knows how to do really good makeup. So it's kind of looking at your resources. Who are your friends? Does your friend know how to do this? Does your friend know how to do that? Does your friend work in a bar that maybe you could hire during the day when it's closed to shoot your video? Do you know what I mean? So, and I've pulled loads of favors like that. So that's kind of just using your local resources and just knowing people and having a network, and who do you know that can help you make your video and help you do it for zero or no budget. I've literally rolled up to pubs and went, can I film in here for 20 minutes and we'll buy lunch? And they've went, yeah. So, you know, just be that quirky and be that bold just to get locations that you want. And that's kind of how I've done it. Hey guys, Laura here from Budget Music Videos. I am here today to give you my top 4 tips on how to shoot a low budget music video. It doesn't matter what you're filming on. If you're filming it on your phone, it really doesn't matter. Follow these 4 tips and you cannot fail. 1, keep it simple. Pick a really good location and roll with it. No scripts, nothing. Sing to the camera. That's it, it's done. Tip 2 is good light. If the sun is out there, use it to your advantage. If not, fill your face with light. Looks so much more professional. Tip 3 is good angles. Always shoot close, mid, and wide. That's it. Gives lots of variation. Tip 4 is trying to be bokeh. It always gives it more of a cinematic look. In other words, everything behind you is blurred. If you can do that, good job. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. All right, so I have loads of tips sort of type videos everywhere between my YouTube page and my website. And what I'm trying to simplify is just think of those 4 ultimate things. So if you're filming on your phone, get a good location. You know, try and keep it as low key as you can. Less is always more, okay? If you've no money and you've no budget, I honestly scream it to the high hills. Don't write a script for a big complicated storyline. You're not a video director. Unless you are a video director, your speciality is making music. Let that be your speciality. If you're going to do something complicated, hire in the pros. Honestly, otherwise it'll just look whack. And the simplest ideas are always the best. We've done quite a lot of videos where it's one shot. I'm just going to play this in the background. Hold on. Where it's literally one continuous shot. And I've done loads of music videos like this, including for our stock database, where this is one of the stock database videos. So basically, it's just 3.5 minutes of this one thing. A few weeks ago, a well-known rapper in Northern Ireland asked me to do him walking through a building and him rapping the song. And we actually shot it in slow motion. So he had to sing the song twice the speed. And it turned out brilliant and it went viral and stuff, but it was one shot. So he literally entered the building, rapped his song, walked the whole way up the stairs and into the back of the building. And by the time we had finished, he had a video and it was done. And it was filmed in 3.5 minutes. So we've done loads of stuff like that. I mean, I've filmed dancers doing a routine in one shot. You know, as long as the camera is steady and it's focused and it's clean and there's good lighting, you can achieve something like that so easily. I'm sure you all have seen there are, you know, robotic gimbals you can get for your phone. Has anyone seen those? It's like a powered gimbal. It's really, really good. It means you can move your phone about in all sorts of positions and it won't shake and it won't, fall over. And they're only about 100 quid. We would use gimbals quite regularly in what we do. So they would be, again, robotic handles for the camera. It keeps the camera steady. This one here you're looking at was actually just filmed handheld. So that just goes to show you how good that cameraman is. But filming handheld is really, really hard. So I wouldn't expect anyone to be able to do that. If not, use a tripod. But with this here, if you're looking at this one shot, this is beautifully filmed. It's a beautiful model. It's beautiful lights. There's a lot going on there, and it's filmed on our big red camera, so it's got everything going for it. That's why it looks so good. You can, of course, film something low budget. This is one of our £500 videos. Okay, this is filmed in a tiny room. I mean, literally, it's probably about the size of that. And it's a little black room in a studio that we use very regularly. All we've done is good lighting, and that's what it comes down to. Now, I'll tell you the lighting in this, actually. So behind her is one light. One little spotlight, yeah. And what we do, we've got like a spotlight. It's about this size, and it sends out a very straight light, which is great. And then what we do is we put a filter on it to create the color. So gel filters, which are like plastic colors that you put in front of lights. And honestly, I have gotten lights from B&Q before. I mean, they don't have to be expensive and they don't have to be complicated. And then what we've done is we filmed the room with smoke. And then what that does is amplify the light. So if you've got a little light like this, right, and it's pushing the light there, and you put color in front of it, green, red, blue, whatever it is, you then cover that with smoke, you've then got a room that looks green or blue or red. It's really simple. It's a really simple trick. I think a lot of people think when you think lighting, you got to do 3-point lighting. You don't have to. You can be creative and do colors like that, and then just all there was a light from above as well, and that was it. And luckily the studio came with that light from above, and we just turned it on. So, obviously there's some clever editing and camera work here too. The effect, there's like a twinkle effect coming in the corner. You'll see it come in every now and again. Is actually a prism, creating the kaleidoscope effect. And a prism is like a little glass prism, yeah? And all we do is stick it in front of the lens and go like this. And, it creates that little prism effect. You'll see it every now and again coming in. And then the editing, there's nothing rocket science about that edit at all. It is really simple. But that's what you can achieve on a low budget with the right skills and the right kind of lighting. So, how to produce a music video. I have 10 steps. This is the 10 steps I generally follow for every production, depending on the size of the production, okay? The lower the budget, the less, obviously, that's going into it, therefore the less planning, the less effort. But there is 10 steps that I generally follow. So obviously you've got your plan, your theme, your process. What is the plan for the video? What is the video? Is it going to be just you with a green light? Is it going to be you outside a big manor house? Is it going to be you by a promenade? What is the plan for the video? What do you want to achieve? Step 2, location scouting. Listen, there are so many amazing locations out there. If you just get in a car and go and find them, don't waste time going to the most used ones, I always say. Try and find something that's maybe a bit different, a bit unique. You are in London, it is amazing. There's so many amazing places. You just have to go for a walk and you'll find loads. Okay, so step 3 is obviously equipment. What kind of equipment we use? I mean, I'm saying to you, you can use your phone. Using a phone is easy enough. Everyone's got video editing apps out there now. I mean, phones are great. You can create a lot. You can do a lot. As long as you follow the tips, good light. I think the Samsung Note 9, now you can create blurred focus in the background, which is amazing. So that's pretty cool. I mean, look, DSLRs are the standard kit now for anyone that's filming, photography, whatever. You can see the guys here, they're using Blackmagics, which are really cool. It's like a step up from that. This is my personal one, which I'm going to go down into London this afternoon and do a bit of filming with. And it's that simple. All I've got with that is a monopod, a really lightweight one, because I hate carrying heavy equipment. I mean, it's the worst. I don't need heavy equipment. And that's great for getting steady shots. And then I have a reflector. And literally, these are like a tenner. You know, these are not expensive. The monopod is like 20 quid out of Curry's. The camera itself now, it depends on which one you go for. I love anything Sony. Sony range is amazing. Now, our sort of videos, we generally use quite high-end Sonys, but you can get the lower-end Sonys, which are about £500, even cheaper. And they are good cameras, and you can do a lot. My first camera was a Sony camera, and I've stuck with them ever since. The lens is the most expensive part of that, but that's because there's no point buying a whole load of equipment if you don't know how to use it. But the great thing about DSLRs now, any of the new ones coming out, is they all have an auto function. And the auto function is actually kind of good, except in low light, because it assumes that you want it to be brighter. So if you're filming just general outside, the auto function on a DSLR is usually really, really good. So you don't overthink that you need to learn all these settings. And the autofocus, use autofocus because it's great. So yeah, the newer cameras now, the Sony ranges, any of the alpha ranges of Sony cameras, I totally recommend them. I think they're some of the best cameras out there. You could probably get a used one for like a couple of hundred, and you'd be surprised the quality. And they're all coming in 4K as well. So you're filming in 4K, which is amazing, which gives you much more depth when you're editing as well. Obviously, standard of part of my kit are tripods and smoke machines, and smoke machines are dirt cheap too. I mean, I have a big industrial one, but you can get little cheap ones off eBay, and they would fill this room no problem. Things like lights, again. My first light, I'm not going to lie, my first light was a floodlight for outside your house. Here, we all have to start somewhere. So my first light was a big floodlight, and it was brilliant. It just filled the space with light, whatever you needed to do. Nowadays, my kit is really simple. I have a ring light. Does everyone know what a ring light is? And those you can get for quite cheap on eBay. I love eBay. Who likes eBay? Sorry for lights. Everything's from China. So eBay is great for finding stuff like that. Ring lights, LED panels, really, really easy to use. You can put colors on them as well. So if you're using a ring light, I love a ring light because it creates the ring in the eyes, but it also is a great beauty look as well. And I use it obsessively. Then LED panels. The big thing I have are tube lights. Tube lights are massive, and they're a big trend as well, and we probably overuse them, but people always request them, so we just use them. And tube lights are like long fluorescent lights that you might see in an office building. And we've got them, they're dirt cheap as well, honestly, 20 quid or something each. And we put coloured gels on them, and then we stand them behind people, and we use it to make a wall look green or blue or whatever, and they're a really good feature, and it's just something a bit quirky. But it really depends on your style and what you want to do, and if you want to invest in kit like that, that's fine. But there is ways of doing things that's affordable without breaking the bank, okay? Actors, models, dancers, and extras. Right, so if you're going down the route where you're using a model or a dancer or whatever, or you're doing some sort of basic script, please make sure you hire somebody with talent and looks good on camera. I'm sorry to be really ruthless here, but unfortunately, they can make or break your video. And that's not a joke. Where I've had so many examples where my clients have showed up with, a dancer or something, actually on many occasions, where the client has decided to book the talent and not let me do it, and the talent has shown up and not been talented at all. And we've had to then that's messed with our entire plan, our entire video. We've had to come up with a backup plan, and oh my God, who can we get? Blah, blah, blah. Or the biggest problem is sometimes if you're hiring free talent, and there's loads of platforms out there, don't get me wrong, where you can get free talent. Places like Star Now. Does anyone know Star Now? No? Never heard of Star Now? Starnow.co.uk is brilliant for talent, models, dancers, extras, all that stuff. And you can get people who work for dinner. But if you want, they'll never be brilliant, and they'll never be super talented or experienced. But it's an option, you know, if you need to go down that route. But just be wary, if you're getting free talent, they might not show up to your shoot as well. And that has happened a lot. So again, thinking about hair, makeup and costumes, as I said before, really important. Physical prep, set design. I mean, look, you know, if you're booking a studio, unfortunately, booking a studio, you can't go in and do set design the day before. You can't do it. If there's something you wanted to build, you got to do it within your time frame. That video I showed you before, we did that in 4 hours. That's lighting setup, camera setup, everything. That's how fast and equipped we are. If you're new and you've not done it before, you know, if you're hiring a studio, you need to make yourself aware that you are restricted by time, and studios are ruthless when it comes to time. So your physical setup and preparation might take you longer than what it would me. Yeah, lighting, filming, obviously filming. Nowadays, I would advise anyone filming to try and film in 4K if you can, because good thing is internet can now take it. It couldn't a few years ago. So everything is 4K, everything's 4K. And directing, who's gonna direct on your shoot? Is it gonna be you? Is it gonna be your mate? Is it gonna be your mum? Who's it gonna be? If you're DIYing your video, as much as that's great, and you probably have somebody helping you, like your friend or your mum. My mum's helped me loads. So if whatever is happening, that's fine. Just make sure you've got somebody that can be honest. And I'm the most honest person in the room at a video shoot, and I can be very blunt and brash, and it can come across not as rude, but at the same time, I'm telling you my honest opinion. You know, sometimes we've worked with artists who don't look great on camera, or we can't figure out what their angle is, or because we want them to look as best as they can. So I'll be like, okay, we'll film that. And I'll be like, no, don't like that shot. Move on. What's the next shot? So, you know, when you're filming yourself or somebody's filming for you, make sure somebody's in the room that can give you that honest opinion. Okay. Or just double check that your makeup and hair is on point. I mean, we all need that person in our life. Editing. So editing, yep, is the final step. Editing is hard. It's not an easy job. You can do it on your phone through many different apps. There's a great software out there that I always tell people to use. It's called Coral Video Studio. That's for like anyone starting out in editing. I think it's great. It's cheap. You can buy it for like £70, and it's a one-off purchase. It's something I started using in the beginning. I use quite a few different softwares now, but Coral is great and I always advise musicians to use it because I think it's really easy. And if you try to use one of the more technical softwares that we use on a day-to-day, I think you might get confused, and then you throw the head up and be like, no, I don't want to do this. So Coral is definitely a great software. It's cheap, and you'll know how to use it in 10 minutes. And there's loads of tutorials on how to use it. So editing, yeah. Don't overthink your edit. Keep it simple. Trying to do a technical edit when you don't have those skills, just don't do it. Just keep it simple. Less is always more. Okay, I'm just going to show you this video here. This was shot in August this year, and it was for a client of mine. I have quite a lot of international clients. So this client actually came from the Philippines. And lovely girl, brilliant song actually, and she flew all the way from Philippines and wanted to shoot this video. We had planned it about 2 weeks in advance, and you know, sometimes videos go right and sometimes they go wrong. It looks great, right? But to get that result, that video was shot in 5 hours. Okay, so basically the night before the shoot, I was sitting in the airport about to fly from Belfast to here, and the next thing, the flight was delayed 5 hours. I was like, oh my God, right, okay, I can handle that, that's fine. Then I got to the other side and got to London finally, and I no longer had a car. I couldn't rent the car, rental place had closed, I couldn't get here. Then I got a phone call from one of my guys saying, Laura, the studio has been double booked. We now have no studio. We weren't supposed to be filming here, we were supposed to be filming in a really nice place. And I was like, shit, right? Pardon my language. Let's phone everyone we know. Who do we know that has availability for tomorrow? It was literally 8 hours away. So we had went from, it was supposed to be a 12-hour shoot. We then had to tell everybody we got somewhere else, luckily. And then the artist wasn't well. And she showed up 4 hours late to the studio. So, and then dancers were 2 hours late. Motorcyclist guy was 2 hours late, I think, as well. So just everything was against me on that day. So we had this whole thing planned where she was going to learn this dance routine. Bless her soul, she couldn't really dance. And, you know, we tried, but we just didn't have the time for her to really perfect it. So I just said, right, sexy dancers, you do it. And we'll throw her in. But there was a lot of having to think on the spot right there and then. This is not the video I had originally planned. My entire script went out the window the minute the studio changed. But she loved it, and it turned out amazing, and it's went viral, and she's done very well from that video, and she's come back for more videos since. But the whole fire wasn't planned, and it was just all, what are we doing? I don't know, make it up as we go along. So that's kind of, I'm lucky because I've got a lot of experience, a lot of network, and a lot of people who can help me when stuff goes wrong. But the video turned out beautiful in the end, so it did. Another option I just want to talk to you about, and a lot of people think that they need to go off and make their own videos and do everything. There is a lot of stock sites out there. So say you went off and you filmed yourself playing the guitar on a promenade, I don't know, and you wanted to have an aerial shot of London in the middle of it, you can get that on stock sites. There's loads of stock sites. So there's Storyblocks. There's obviously Shutterstock, Getty Images, they're all quite expensive. Storyblocks is the cheapest. They're great if you need little clips, so 10-second clips. So, you know, sometimes bringing in big extravagant shots into your video can give it the wow factor. Having that opening shot, aerial shot of London, or an opening shot of a mountainside, you know, that you couldn't film, and then cut to you, yay! That can be awesome. So, you know, there's ways of filling out your video without you physically going and filming it yourself and having that extravagant look. It's just all about how you edit it together and making sure that it looks clean and looks the same. Obviously, we now have a database as well of stock imagery and stock videos. These are videos that are ready to take home as well. Okay, what not to do? Has anyone in here actually made a music video? Yay! Love it. Brilliant. And how many have you done? 1, 2, 1? Only one?
About 10.
Yes, love that. And have you done them yourself?
For the most part.
Yeah.
Not
With people?
Yeah.
Very good. Have you ever made shaky shots? Shaky shots I hate, obviously. You know, if you've got a tripod or a monopod or anything, it just takes away from the video completely. Good thing is, if you're filming on a DSLR, you can put your camera into slow motion, like 50 frames per second, and you can then slow that down in the edit, which then masks shaky shots, which is great, which I have done many times. So that's the advantage probably of having a good DSLR, is that you can do slow motion shots, and slow motion shots are the pinnacle of every music video. You won't get that on your phone. However, if I'll tell you a tip. If you were to film in 4K on this phone, for example, and that films at 30 frames per second, and put it into a software called Adobe Premiere, you can actually slow it down, although you're not supposed to, and make it look all right, slow motion, even though you're not supposed to. It's just an editing trick, but that is probably a bit more advanced knowledge. But yeah, there's loads of ways to make your footage look good, slow motion being one of the top ones I always advise. Again, do not film lots and lots and lots of scenes. Simplicity is key. Don't be scared to give away creativity. I think, you know, I work with musicians every day, and I think it's really, really, really important that you let people come in and give you suggestions, you know, and let people input into your video. At the end of the day, you specialize in music. I specialize in videos. And I think giving up a little bit of that creativity will definitely make your videos so much better. There's a lot of the time where I'm trying to give advice, especially to musicians starting out, and I can give you examples all day long. We had a musician in the studio last Friday, and she hated her hair. And we had a great hairstylist there, and you know what? She was absolutely stunning. And I'm not joking around. She was like mouth-watering drop, like seriously. And she really hated her hair. I was like, what? And, you know, everyone in the team were saying to her, no, you look great, you know. And I think, you know, bringing people in to reassure you, to give you that positivity, but also give you input that if your hair looks terrible, you know, they'll tell you or whatever. Do plan, 100% plan something. You know, as I said, when you plan a shot list, for example's sake, your shot list, say you are playing your guitar and it's on a park bench. I'm just saying, for example, you want to try and get 4 different shots of that one scene. So you want to get your nice close shot, you want to get a mid, and then you want to get a wide, and then you want to get a moving shot. Okay, so those are my 4 standards. See, in every shot list we do, we would set up our 4 scenes for each music video, and for each scene, I would have a minimum of 4 shots I'm trying to get. One will be the close, one will be the mid, and then the wide, and then a moving shot. And a moving shot will help your video to move and have a bit of bounce to it and a bit of rhythm and a bit more exciting, really. Obviously, communicate your idea clearly with the team. I have got on set and musicians have changed their mind on the day of filming, and we went, okay. Now I want to do this. So I got an email this morning from a client whose script is done. We're filming in a warehouse on Friday, and he emailed me, yeah, can we film outside? I was like, where are we filming outside? What are you saying to me right now? So now I have to go back and relook at the script, and the warehouse, I have no idea where it is, and think, where are we going to film outside? So having those sort of impulse is okay 2 days before, but on the day of the shoot, if he had said to me, can we go film outside? I'd be like, but where are we filming outside? We can't just film anywhere. It's not going to match the video. It's not going to look nice. How do we know if there's a nice park nearby? You might not. So yeah, communicate your idea clearly before the day of the shoot, because once it's the day of the shoot, it's pretty much should be set in stone. Please don't overthink it. Okay, remember this. Video content, okay, everybody opens their phone every morning, checks Facebook, Instagram, whatever social platform you're on, right? Do you want to see the same content? No. So every morning you open your social media, you're looking for new content, right? So don't overthink your videos, because the amount of content that's going out there goes so quickly. And one of my biggest pieces of advice for anyone is don't overthink it. I've had clients who spend 6 months on one video. That video's come and gone within 2 days. And then what? You've spent 6 months on one video. So do think it through. You know, we're quite clever, as we've worked with musicians and we've banged out 4 music videos for them in a day. And that's just clever thinking and just, okay, he needs 6 months of content here. Okay, we're going to do a behind the scenes. We're going to shoot a live. We're going to shoot an actual music video, and maybe we hire out a space and we do 4 different looks in one day. And it sounds mad, but it is doable. And then he's got content to release every week for the next how many months. So being effective, I think, and not overthinking your videos, and especially when we're in a content world where everything's so fast paced. The first minute of the video needs to be the best. So open with your best shot. Keep the first minute the most intriguing shots of your entire video. We don't have any patience anymore as people who are viewing your content, and you don't want people to fall asleep. So I honestly advise the most powerful shot, the most interesting. Don't wait for the bridge. People are like, oh no, but I want the most best shot at the bridge. People might not make it to the bridge, and it's terrible, but that's the reality of the world we're in. Keep your best stuff. Get people intrigued in that first minute, okay? Okay, don't hire a high-end camera unless you know what cameras. I get people phoning me every day saying, oh, I want to hire a red camera. And I go, no. Look, the name of a camera is absolutely irrelevant, what the brand of the camera is. It's all about knowing how to use it, knowing how to light, and knowing how to edit. That's it. And, you know, listen, I can create big productions on the likes of this camera here and that camera there. And it's just knowing how the camera works. And, you know, and I've made huge, big productions on small cameras for big TV shows. So, you know, and big celebrities and all that. So I think if you think you know cameras, but you don't demand. If you can see the portfolio of somebody like me, trust that I know what camera I should be using and that I'll deliver the quality you need. Now, I will say this. The likes of MTV and all those big stations expect a certain quality. The minimum, obviously, 4K. Everything has to be 4K. But there is obviously a certain quality when it comes to formats. So if you're going down the road where you're making a video that you want to send out to Fast Tracks, do you know what Fast Tracks is? No, Fast Tracks is a platform where you can submit your video to TV stations, and they request certain formats. That's just one example. So the quality of your video cannot be shot on a phone. They almost don't even like DSLRs. It just depends how well you are using a DSLR. If you can make a DSLR look like a really high-end production, which is what we can do, then you're great. But there is a certain quality that they expect. MTV won't release anything below a certain quality. So just be wary if you're going down that road, that you communicate with who you're working with, that you're planning to submit to TV. Because I've done videos, £500 videos, no joke, and they've been, all right. But they're not like any massive big standard. They're perfect for online. And then they come back to me a month later and go, oh, I need a format because I'm putting this on TV. And I'm like, oh, why didn't you tell me that before? Because I would have advised you that you need blah, 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 blah format and you need blah, blah, blah quality, okay? So I'm not saying you're at that level now, but you might be at that level later down the line. Just make sure that if you're going down the TV route, that you plan your video well, because there is a quality standard. Okay, dark shoots. I would never advise anyone to do a dark shoot unless you know how to film in light in a dark scene. Filming in a dark scene, I love to say that the auto setting on a camera works well, but it really doesn't. Even with your phone, there is lighting adjustments. You don't want grain in your camera footage. Grain is the worst, and you can't fix that in the edit, okay? Don't do a dark shoot unless you've got somebody helping you with lighting, somebody who knows how to use a camera really, really well, because otherwise it can just look grainy and unprofessional. And it is hard to master, although it can be the best. But just, I would avoid it if you're starting out. Expectations. Has anyone seen this before? This is pretty much my job every day. So this is my client's expectations. This is what their budget is. And that's not a joke. And look, I totally understand what it is to be an independent artist, but keep your expectations realistic. Taylor Swift's videos, they spend about $1 million, maybe less, maybe more, probably. So when you see videos out there and you're like, oh, I want to do a video like that, just manage your expectations. If you say to me, oh, I really like that new Ed Sheeran video, can you do me something like that? But I've only got $2,000 budget. I'm like, we can do something, but keep your expectations realistic, okay? Yes, a production. So we start at £500. I have leaflets here, you can have one. Some of our price packages on there. We start at £500 for video production and we have packages that go up to 3,500. 3,500, sorry. And we also have a calculator on our site where you can actually play around with options, which is cool. So say you want a specific studio, you can get a price right there and then on our website with a calculator. But yeah, £500 seems to be a good starting range for every production company. You'll find anyone that does what I do, they start around that mark. And that gets you that video I showed you earlier, which is quite nice. Well, it's a location shoot usually, but the reality is if you're going to go down the professional road, and you're going to hire somebody like me, my advice, start around the 1,000 to 2,000 mark. And it sounds like a lot of money, totally get that, but you will get that quality and it will be representative. With the outcome that you get is always amazing. So look, £500, if that's your budget, that's fine. If you want to DIY it, do that. It's totally up to you. If you want to go down the stock route, our stock videos start at £100. And you can license a stock video. Because as I said, it's more important that you promote and market your music and get your music selling. So always look at the video now as a marketing tool. As much as you want to represent yourself as a musician, here's me, yay. At the same time, you want to get your music out there. You want to promote yourself. You want to market your music. You want to get people on a Spotify or iTunes buying your songs. So what's more important? Look at the video as a marketing tool. Look at it as a way of people, ooh, they heard my song because I had a cool visual. It doesn't necessarily have to be you in it every time, okay? It doesn't necessarily need to be, oh, it's all about me. It can be just a visual supporting the music, okay? Any questions? I know we've had some already. Any more questions? No? Yes? Okay, yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually writing a book at the minute, exactly that. And my team and I have come together because we get musicians. They get their video and then they don't know what to do with it. And they're like, okay, I've got this video, now what? So I'm putting something together. I could advise you all day long what to do. Please have a plan for marketing your video. It's just like anything else. You guys need to remember that you're releasing a song. You ultimately are an entrepreneur releasing a product. And you got to look at it as a business. And I'm sure you're told this all day long. You are a business. But that is the serious truth. And you got to put a marketing plan together. So if you've got all these social media platforms, then you've got to be putting out that content and tagging it and all of that. But there are so many different platforms out there that are really good. Anyone on Reverb Nation? No? Reverb Nation? Oh my gosh, that's great. Reverb Nation's a good one. I've just partnered up with an amazing platform that's very new, but it's like Facebook for musicians, and it is brilliant. It's called Drooble.com. So it's Drooble, Drooble.com. And they're actually one of our partners, which is cool. We just signed with them. And basically it's like Reverb Nation, where there are platforms for musicians to go on there and promote themselves, get their work out there, but also get feedback from other musicians and get support from other people. And there's like communities. And they're really great ways to promote gigs, really great ways to promote your songs, your links, all that sort of thing. The one thing I will say is just be careful when it comes to social media, Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube, because they are saturated, especially YouTube. It's really, really hard to stand out on YouTube now. So there's a lot of platforms now coming out that are trying to be specific for the musicians. There's another one I know called creamfloats.com. And, you know, they're all quite, you want to look for those musician-orientated type platforms because, look, as much as being on every social media platform, it's sometimes not the best thing because sometimes you're putting yourself too much. But have a marketing plan. Say to yourself, okay, I'm going to release the video. YouTube now actually have this whole big release feature where you can release it like it's a big deal, you know, like, anyway, so you know there's loads of different things you can do, but definitely have a plan. And do you know what, there's a great website called Fiverr.com. Anyone know Fiverr.com? Yes. Fiverr.com has brilliant of music bloggers, and I mean loads of them, really good ones, who blog on big music review sites. If you can get a music blogger, now fair enough, it might cost you a fiver or maybe 20 quid, but those guys can help push your video. So if you decide to go with YouTube to launch your video, then you want to get music bloggers from as many platforms that you can to sort of retweet it and re-share it and make sure that it gets out there to get traction. And if you go down the YouTube route as well, I mean, definitely think about advertising your video too, and just to get it on the top feeds of YouTube. And remember, the minute you release that video, you've got to go hard promoting it, because if you don't, you wait a week, the traction's lost. Okay, literally you have like 48 hours to push that video like mad to get any traction. Okay, but that's a whole other workshop. Anyone else? Depends on the music. I'm just kidding. I think stay away from a white backdrop. I hate white backdrops. Although I do shoot them, don't get me wrong, and that's usually because of the client requests. And then what we try and do is put some colour lights in there, or put a seat in there, do something. Just it's the whole stay away from, you know, the rappers in the throne chairs. And, you know, I mean, you know the stereotypical videos. I'm sorry, I don't do booty shaking naked women videos. I don't do them because there's so many other things you can do. Those are stereotypical, and that's that genre. It's fair enough, but there's no need for it, to be fair. It's actually off-putting. I think the white studio. I hate the white studio. I'm sorry. All the white shoe in it. Don't get me wrong. I just hate a white studio. But you know, do try and be unique if you can. But listen, it's all been done at this point, so it is hard to be unique. But I think less is always more, especially when you're on a low budget. Keep it simple. Good film work, good editing, clean video, and keep it that simple. All right. Oh, are we done? Yay! Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was a pleasure.